Greetings all, welcome back. Sorry for the delay in a video. I didn't get one up last weekend. I was hoping to, but the main sort of thing I wanted to do on the new Bonnie, the new older Bonnie that is, was just give it a full service. It needed, well, for my peace of mind, oil, plugs, brake fluid. I wanted it flushed through. The brake pads were getting near their limits. I've changed all the brake pads and whatnot. Da-de-da-de-da. Haven't got round to the fork oil yet when I put in the other spacers, but maybe I'll save that for another video. I did have a few little plays with the exhausts, some other possible ideas, but didn't really work out. I'll put up a few bits now and just show you anyway what I filmed with the hope of that going up as a video. No, we're...
So this is what I'm going to have a little play with to put on, and they're a 16-inch slash cut turnout pipe, just, you know, sort of ones you get everywhere, the universal kind of silencer. But yeah, I thought it just might be something a little bit different and a little bit fun. I quite like the look of the slash cut that I had on there before, but let's see if yeah, I'm going to get sort of better performance with more of an open muffler than I did before. Okay, so I've got two sets of downpipes here. On this side of the original, your 19-inch wheel T100 downpipe, and then this is your mag wheel one. So you can see how the kind of the sweep at the end very different on them both. So I'm going to try fitting up first of all the mag wheel one, because I want a lower kind of look to the exhaust, you know, keeping it straighter along the bottom. I could probably achieve it as well with this one, because I've got the extra well, they're over there, the little add-ons that you get. So yeah, I've got lots of sort of variables that I can have a play with and see which ones sit the best. But yeah, I think I'm going to offer these ones up first, just loosely get them on and show you the pipes and see how they're sort of sitting.
Yeah, so although they look, I quite like the look of them. They were the bike just didn't respond as well with those on with the jetting that I've got. Maybe because they are slightly baffled. You know, not the usual straight through. I mean, they're not heavily baffled, but they are somewhat restricted. So maybe I'll have a play around it trying to get the baffles out of these. It looks like they're just spot welded in there, 2 points, so we'll see what we can do. Maybe make something a bit more fun out of that. But what I have got, actually, and I'm happy for doing it, is I've got my EFI pipes on still, and then the little tips on the end, so they are kind of a flatter profile. Yeah, maybe I'll give you a show of those. There we go. So there's that done. So now we're back on to a few more things. I ordered up a few bits as well, because I actually borrowed brake pads and stuff off the other Bonnie to put on this Bonnie, purely because I had them there. At the time I didn't do the usual thing of checking everything out before I ordered it all. I just went straight in there and then discovered I needed bits. But luckily, having that bike, I've transferred bits over. So I've ordered up some new pads and whatnot for that Bonnie, and I think I can feel a series of videos coming up. I've bought some other bits and bobs for this one to try and get it finished, and then I want to do the remap video and stuff like that, because that's all new and exciting stuff for me. But I'm not going to cross match these two Bonneville ones. I'll do that as a separate one, because I already started that as like the airbox videos, so that will continue with those. So it's back on with the carb Bonnie. Really going to have to think up two names for these bikes to kind of do the difference. And yeah, so what else did I buy for this one? Triumph Online, which over in the UK is Square Deals. They do a lot of stuff for Triumph bikes, and I noticed on there when I was, else did I order? Might have been the pads, can't remember. Anyway, I noticed in there that they were doing these aluminium chain guards at a knockdown price, quite cheap just to clear out, because they're sort of surface scratched and all that. And I was like, actually that would be perfect, because that's your standard hugely heavy chunky Bonneville chain guard, which had holes and stuff drilled in. They always seem to get whacked about there, and they end up going all rusty anyway, and they're just horrible lumps of crap. So I wanted to do something different but not spend an awful lot of money, and this was, yeah, about 20 quid, and kind of provides me with the perfect thing to kind of chop up and customise and make my own. And I think, in keeping with the engine covers, I know it's a bit shiny for me, but I'm going to try and knock this back so it's more of a brushed finish. So there's a little project there, because I do want to run with the chain guard. So there's that little project. Whether that's going to be in this video, I don't know. The main one is pulling the dent out of the tank. Now, I started to have a go at that because I want to spray the tank with the tough black and go black with it. I know that's a bit of an obvious sort of thing to do, but I like the satin black. The paintwork on the tank isn't fantastic. You know, it's 16 years old now, so, and it's, you know, it's showing signs of age. If it was a lovely, beautiful, pristine tank, then I'd leave it alone, much like I did with the other one. I decided not to do anything with that. This one I have started to play around with, and I thought, if I spray over it, that dent in the side is just going to annoy me. If I was doing like a bare metal finish, maybe some of the scars and stuff would look kind of cool, but I'm not. So it is literally, I'm going to just give it a few goes at different ways of trying to pull out the tank pull out the dent out of the tank, but not spend a lot of money doing it. So my first attempt was using this method. Okay then, so before we spray the tank, I'm going to give it a go getting rid of this dent. It's a bit, I think once it all goes satin black, there's a few chips which I've started sort of filling in with paint just to bring them up, to fill the lacquer up, but I think that will kind of annoy me. I've been thinking about before I go through spraying it all, whether or not that should stay as a bit of character or not, and I think I'm going to give it a go at getting rid of it. In the past I've used like your sat-nav suction things, and they've managed to pull dents out. That's been more out the side of the car panels. This is a bit on the edge, and the one I've got isn't quite the right sort of size for it. So I'm going to try heating that area up, not boiling hot obviously, but just, you know, warming the metal, and then I'll be using something like this. Well, in fact, this exact thing, just an air duster, turned upside down. See, that goes cold very quickly with a propellant, and then sometimes the shock of that is enough to pop it. You've probably seen them on YouTube. So yeah, why not give it a go. Using a heat gun here on a lowest setting, so I don't really want to blister the paint, don't want to melt the glue under here either. Plus I've got probably a bit of gas sloshing around. Well, that hasn't done it. It's probably double skinned, so it's just not going to pop out very easily. Let's try. That didn't work too good. I also went to my local accident repair centre place just to inquire as to how much it would cost to do like a paintless dent removal or however they do it. It's not something I'm particularly au fait with on like a tank. If you can't get behind something or it's flat and you can suction it off, I don't know, not my realm. There's obviously something they do where they can either, you can either weld a little plug to it and then slide hammer it out, pull the dent out and then knock it down again. I don't know, but putting heat on a tank, obviously the tank's got to be completely purged. Some people are a bit reticent about working with, even with when all the tank's empty with the vapours and stuff in it. and he also says there is a slight risk of it blowing a hole through the tank, which, you know, then you end up with another problem. So you'll weld that hole up and then blah 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 blah. So I thought, let's try the easiest options. I've done the free options. I'm now going to spend a little bit of money, and what I did, I thought I'm going to give one of these £7 off eBay hot glue gun dent pulling kits a go. Now I would normally just scoff at these and go, no chance, but I am going to give it a little go, because I watched one video of a guy with an SV that had a dent in the tank, and he got one of these, and although it wasn't quite as easy as the idea of gluing it on and then popping it out, after repeated use of doing this, it did actually bring the dent out. It kind of did do the job, so it might work. And you know, £7 delivered. I'm quite happy for a little punt on that, just to give it a go. You never know. I've noticed with these sort of things, even with the dent pullers, it's, you know, kind of not quite as easy as it says on the tin, but sometimes you can achieve, with a bit of blood, sweat and tears, the desired effect. So let's give it a go. Right, let's have a little look what we get in the box. Like that. So we have our hot glue gun, which still amazes me that, you know, this is the stuff I remember from at school. They used to glue pasta shells to paper with, you know. So there we go. Obviously, I mean, that really does feel well made. Right, so it says put this on. Well, insert the glue stick and put this on and leave it heating for 2 or 3 minutes. Do that. You also get some sort of scraping tool, perhaps. Is that? I don't know. I should really read the instructions. So this is the thing, I guess. Now these are the dent pulling tips, I think. Yeah, so we've got 2 in this kit. Let's just take this middle bit off. So I guess, yeah, glue whichever one's going to kind of work on your dent. You can get loads of different sizes, but this is just a £7 basic dent kit. Not what that is either. Do you know what? I better read the instructions. Okay, and so that is the puller. This is the bits that we glue, whichever one's going to fit. So I'll look in a minute. That just seems to be some kind of dowel for knocking your dent down. Oh, I don't know. And this is a release agent as well for the glue. So yeah, how's that heating up? It's getting warm. Leave that for a minute longer, and then yeah. Okay, so I've stuck it on there. I'll leave that to dry for a bit. Prior to that, all we did was put a bit of release agent on there, or whatever their cleaning solution is, but I'm sure it's just to make sure that surface is grease and dirt free, so you can get as good an adhesion as you can. Right, so that seems to have glued on. I've now attached this kind of adjustable feety brace thing, and then you just screw that bit on the top, and then the idea is you slowly tighten it. That will pull the dent out. But I don't know. Tiny bits come up actually. Maybe with repeated use. Right then, as you can see, the dent is an awful lot smaller, or it's come up quite a bit. I'm quite amazed that just repeated gluing and pulling, I think about probably 30, has actually achieved, I mean, not perfect, but certainly much better than it was. However, as you can see, not without collateral damage. It did pull off the lacquer, the red and the pinstriping, so I'm down to the silver underneath this coat. So yeah, so if I was looking for a
damage, no, a repair that didn't damage the paint, I'd be a little bit knocked. But I've got it to the point now where possibly with different tips you could probably pull it out a bit more or something. But the ones I've got are just popping off now. That's kind of, it's got to it's as far as it's going to go. So I think I'm going to have to admit defeat on that. Well, not defeat, but it's not going to be super smooth. But I'm just going to skim over this with. I don't normally like using filler really, but as it is just like a little fill up, some of that isopon stuff. I'll just skim that over and just fill it. But yeah, and then we can. I've just sanded down those, so that's why I dropped the paint in there, in the where the chips were, just so I didn't have to use any filler to bring it up to the same level as the paint. But obviously I could have done now. But hey ho. I've also taken the tank badges. I've taken the knee pads off as well. I was going to leave them on, but I've actually decided to change things up. I'm going to take them off, and it's just going to be black tank, and then just with the badges back on there, I think. So yeah, so I just need to start slowly filling that, and then whip this bad boy off, and then clean it, and then get it sprayed up. Slowly getting there, slowly but surely. Trying to get that. You can see it's still a bit flat here. See if we can get some other angles. But I mean, it's getting closer there. There'll be a point, because I mean, obviously I'm not going to get it perfect, because I'm just not skilled in this department, or good enough. But try and get it as best as I can, you know. So when the black goes on, it's a little bit less obvious. But I think I'm getting very close now, very close to what I'll be kind of happy with. So I think we're about 4 coats in on that. Starting to cover nicely, trying to keep the dust and the flies off it. As for where it was filled, I can still see it. It's not perfect, but it'll do. I'm quite happy with this. Is the kind of daily beta bike. It's not supposed to be show winning, so that'll have to do. Alright, just to let it dry now. That's about 6 or 7 coats. Not perfect. You can still kind of see where I've had to fill it, and funnily enough, the pinstripes themselves in the right light you can still faintly see. But overall, totally happy with that. So yeah, just let it go off and stick it back on. Okay, so while waiting for the filler to dry, I've just offered up the old chain guard. I can see why they're cheap. It's a pretty horrible fit. Needs a bit of manipulation to get it to fit right. But just having a quick eyeball at where I can maybe start chopping it and making it a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. Okay, I think a rough cut, or initial cut, did have a straight line going up there, but it looked a little bit abrupt. Yeah, can't quite decide here yet. I might do that one first. Might draw my straight line in as well, and just see which one's going to work. Can always take more off, can't put it back on. So that's the other cut. Which I think looks kinda nice. Maybe need to be a bit more intricate up here. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that side there. I think that'll do the job nicely. Just lost a bit of the where do I put it? There we go.
I'm trying to remember, yeah, it's something like that, wasn't it? So a little bit shorter there. So now I'm just going to try and think what I want to do with this back end here. Okay, it's proving a little bit tricky for me to make up my mind what I want to do. I think that might be it. It's the one. Just a random placing of the grinding disc on there. I'm liking that. I think there might be some hole detail in here, but yeah, let's just lop it off, otherwise I'm going to be here deciding all day. I think I like it. Too late now anyway. But yeah, started just going over the finish with a Scotch-Brite as well, just to give it a bit more of a brush finish. I do think maybe some hole detail might be quite nice. Just slight modification as well. I've just cut a notch out for the to allow for the shock. Okay, so I think those are the holes on that side. I was going to do that pattern on there, but I might actually keep them all the same size in a line. I'm going to tackle this end first, get that where I'm happy with it. Line of equal sized holes, one out in the end. So there we go. Going to call that finished. A lot less material on it than originally. Undecided as to whether to go black. I do like me a brushed finish, and that's come out quite nicely. So not sure. So maybe stick it on the bike and have a little look. Yep, there we go. So I'm quite actually liking it in the brush finish at the moment. Everything else is going to be going kind of satiny black, so with the holes in it now, that kind of breaks it all up a little bit. So I'm kind of tempted to leave it for the time being at least. But yeah, I think that's perfectly nice. Let's see, you can see where it cut out around there for the shock, just to so there's no fouling. I'll put a little spacer, you see, in there as well, and that with a little bit of re-manipulation seems to have got everything much better, sort of lined up far better than it was before. So cool, call that done. And there we go, tank's back on, back in black. Yeah, I'm pretty chuffed with that. Liking the look. Looks pretty sweet. I know it's very cool and trendy, but I'm thinking that other seat that I cut down, I'm wondering if I might recover that to match the grips, you know, just break things up a little bit. But all in, I'm pretty happy with that. It's turned out nice. I definitely prefer the bike in black, a bit more blacked out. So yeah. Okay, and so that pretty much wraps up this video. I kind of got done what I wanted to get done, which was the tank. That was the kind of the high on the list of priorities. Yeah, the exhaust didn't work out, but they're still in reserve for, you know, another day. There's going to be lots of little things changing on this one as it goes along, I dare say. But the plan for the future now, kind of the next thing I really want to focus on is the EFI Bonneville. I really need to get the ball back rolling on that. As I said earlier, I've got a couple of little things on that which are steps towards it being done. I kind of have an idea about the light, but not entirely sure. That's still going to be a bit exploratory. But yeah, I really need to get that going. I kind of want to get that done as well, maybe for the Ace run on the 12th of June, I think it is. That would be kind of nice to have that one right. If not, I'll just have to take the other one. But yeah, so that's kind of one of the main things that I'm going to be revisiting is going to be that one and getting that sorted. But as for this one, a few other things I'm thinking of. There's a little bit of side panel fun I want to have with this one. I want to change from the stock side panels, plus because I don't know if you've seen, I've got a hole drilled in the the right hand side of the panel on this one, where a battery charger was located. So yeah, so I've got an idea for those. Don't know whether to tell you yet. Probably not. I'll save it for another video. Got a little bit of an airbox thing going on with this one as well. Sort of a DIY airbox removal at low cost for this one. So that will be coming up as well. But yeah. So a lot to do with that one, and the continuation of homemade fun on this one. But thanks for watching, and I shall see you soon.